Alright, so last time we got a lot, but this time we're gonna go all out. We're gonna be making this a game, a triple A game, you know? Alright, let's start. This time around, I have a whole lot that I want to get through, so let's get some popcorn and get relaxed because this video is going to be packed with new content and improvements for the game. Alright, so first of all, let's fix some of the bugs that you guys kindly mentioned, like the menu being open and clicking escape doesn't close the menu, but it unpauses it, so that's a problem, so that should be a quick fix, and yeah, there we go. Alright, so another problem y'all have been saying is that you don't know what to do, so that is my fault. If you haven't watched videos, then of course you know what to do. So I'm going to make a quick tutorial, not a gameplay tutorial, but controls on how to play. Maybe I'll make that in the future. Okay, so I added a tutorial button on the menu and pause screen, so now we'll have some sort of idea what to do and how to play. I added controls in the audio menu, which I changed to settings. I know how it looks, it's not very good, but I'm not really sure what else to do with the format, so it's fine, and on to the next problem. Alright, so first on the list, we have bullet and gun selection. Right now, as soon as you unlock a gun, you can't go back, so we're going to make a very simple UI and make a bullet and a gun selection. Alright, so the buttons work, but only once, which is a problem. And this should also all be off, but that's a problem for later me, so yeah, I'm gonna deal with that later. So every time I clicked the gun selection, it would always shoot because I'm selecting different guns. So what I did was every time I click it, I'm actually turning off able to shoot. So now I just have to wait after a certain amount of time. It will turn it back on instead of just shooting all of the time automatically. Because before you could just have an auto clicker do it and you'd just be able to shoot as many times as you want. The way I did it was I had a coroutine, and in that coroutine I had action parameters, so that when it calls the coroutine it would make it not able to shoot for that specified bullet, but then it would call a delay that it would now be able to shoot, and it would do more stuff to make it actually able to shoot. Alright, we're gonna put everything together and see if it works. It's like making a cake. Okay, well, I burnt the cake, but I'm just going to let's carve that part off. Alright, so I got distracted again and decided to make a whole nother tutorial page. So now that it tells them that every time you get a skill, the game gets a little bit harder. It was a bit unclear before, but now it should be very clear. Wait, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the gun selection. Well, here it is. I also fixed the glitch that whenever you hover over any gun and buy it without the points, but not anymore. If you have an old version of the game downloaded, I don't know, maybe it'll be worth something in 30 years, who knows. Alright, another player submitted issue is sometimes the bullets are too fast and move through most enemies. So yeah, that is a problem, and that's gonna take way too long to figure out. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna scrap this tile of skill entirely and turn it into something new. Piercing bullets, because the speed doesn't really matter, and I think this will be a fun idea. So all I have to do is create some more icons. Okay, new skills are made, now it's time to reorganize this. And while I'm at it, I might as well make the critical hit skill. And even more while I'm at it, I might as well make 2 more bullets for fun, because yeah, here's 2 more things on the list. Alright, so that took about 5 hours to do, so let's try and see if it works. That's pretty much my catchphrase at this point. Okay, we don't want all those warnings, and I assume it's because I spelled something wrong. Yes, I did spell something wrong. Okay, now let's fix that. It's not that hard. Let's test out the new bullets. Okay, well it works for 1 bullet, but not when there's more. Oh, that's not supposed to happen. Apparently, every single spike was placed in the wrong spot, so as it followed the bullet, it just got worse and worse. So let's set them all to 0. Great, now let's see if the critical hits work. And amazing, they do. Great, and I also got a bit carried away off camera. So now if there's a boss active on a free run, it doesn't move, so you can't just run away. I don't know if this was a problem before, but I wrote it down in my script, so I'm going to be saying it. Alright, next thing to remake is the speed skill into piercing, which I think is going to be way harder than I expect. So let's hope it's not. Alright, so like most skills, I added this to the list. If you want advice for coding, don't do it like this. When I started, I wasn't the best, and I really wish I could go back. But I've gone way too far, and I don't really feel like doing this, so I stopped. Okay, just gotta make some code real quick. Oh, hey, don't look at that. Oh, hey, look, here it is, it works. Next thing. Okay, well, the next thing actually turned into me updating the enemies, so they're much more visible. And okay, that is a bit better. Not sure how to really make it any better, but I don't really care. I also made M a mute key. By the way, I'm very unorganized, if you can't tell already. Oh yeah, let's get back to the list. Regeneration! It's not working. Let's fix it. I'm also not taking any damage, so let's fix that too, I guess. A quick coding session later, and yeah, I spelled things wrong again. What a surprise. But that's not my fault. It's probably my keyboard, not me. I'm perfect. Okay, so far so good, and I don't see any problems with it, so this actually works. But we're still taking a lot of damage, so let's make these skills much better. Okay, I made healing actually 100% better, so it'll do 100% more damage and 100% more healing, and a 50% reduction, so these should be worth your time to buy. Alright, time for the turret. This is going to be the most difficult one. A solid 5 hours later, I made a quick turret. I haven't tested anything yet, so we're going to be testing this together. Let's see if anything works. Let's get some enemies. And it isn't pointing at them or shooting at them. Alright, the problem was I was searching by tag, not by layer. There's just two different sorting things, sort of, not really. So all I have to do is change this one quick line and it should be fixed. Nope, an error. Okay, so the problem was the searching of the object and not the children. Another quick fix. Okay, another problem was I was looking at the exact enemy's position, but Unity is actually 3D, so when looking at a 2D game, it's gonna look all weird. You don't have to understand what this line is, it's not too complicated. Just know that the only change is the rotation and one of the axes instead of all three. Okay, long story short, that still didn't work, but now it does finally shoot properly, and it shoots properly, so now let's test it and we'll see if it works. Okay, it does work. It looks and shoots, but let's make it so the enemy has to be in range. Okay, so I fixed the shooting and range part, but the real problem was the bullet's not facing in the right direction. So here's the problem. I have the turret and a front of gun object. So when the bullet is said to shoot, it clones itself. I know this is not a good way of doing it, but it works. It sort of works. I don't care enough to change it. It clones itself and looks at the front of gun object and move forward. So it should always move forward, right? Wrong. When having multiple turrets, each bullet would face in that direction, even if that wouldn't hit anything. So I literally have no clue what I did. Not even ChatGPT had any idea what I'd made. But eventually, I fixed it. I don't know how I did it. I was messing around, and I somehow fixed the problem. So let's lock this code away in a safe and never touch it again. Unless you want me to expand on the turret, which I will, however, I don't want to. I do want to, but I don't want to. And I'll have to make this feature in a later video, because I literally have no clue what I fixed. I might have to make a feature where you can pick it up and move it, but right now it'll just spawn wherever you are. I hope you're happy, CatCook543. Alright, next on the list is even more skills. Yes, I know I still have stuff to do, but I want to make new skills. Okay, so this new skill is going to be called a gas zone. It's a small area around the player that will do damage. The upgrades will either slow the enemies down, make it larger, or increase the tick speed, and the final special upgrade will dramatically increase the damage. For the guns, we have two new ones, an octagon and a hexagon, and two more big type guns. And well, let's get to those new enemies later. Alright, this was the problem. It wasn't set to trigger. Now nothing's working. Never mind. This should have been a polygon collider 2D. So let's test it. And it actually works. So I guess let's make the rest of the gas skills. Is there a better way of doing this? 100%. But I started this project, I started out with not knowing as much as I do now. So we're just gonna have to continue with the inefficient lines of code. And there are a lot. Alright, made the slowdown and also added a health bar to the enemies, so you'll always see how much health they have, like the tank, the regen enemy, and one which is to come. Let's do everything together now. Okay, well there's a multitude of issues, all lines that shouldn't be there, and that's about it. I can't click on it. I think the issue is going to be the same. I looked at things in 3D, making the 2D objects 1D, so this is just a canvas or a health bar of 3 enemies but sideways. So that was the issue. Now I just don't want them to be rotating. Alright, so about half an hour of debugging later, I think I finally found the problem. The problem was I was changing the parent object to the health bar, so it would rotate too as well with everything else, because past me wanted future me to waste time on my dumb problems. So I did some magic behind the scenes and got it to about 70% work, which is good enough for me. Next thing, the new enemies, which I'm excited about. I am very lazy, if you can't tell, so I'm just gonna add a plus. And like with the player regeneration, I'll just make it heal every little bit. Okay, that was pretty easy, but now for the harder enemy, the triple gun enemy, which is literally just an enemy with 3 guns. Okay, well this was a lot easier than expected actually. All I had to do was rework a function to get all the scripts to shoot, and copy and paste 2 more guns. Okay, I have the same problem that I do with the turrets, that will always look at the first gun. At least I know the problem now, which is nice. Okay, so it wasn't that easy. I had to edit the bullet script too, so I had to find its own proper front of gun object, but now it should work. Hopefully. Probably not. Okay, there we go. More guns, and simple buffs are pretty simple. Okay, this actually worked, and yeah, there we go. More guns and simple buffs were pretty easy. If y'all have any more ideas for enemies, please tell me. One more thing that I'm going to change is the regen enemy. Right now it heals 2 health every second, but I'm going to very quickly change that so it's scaled with the enemy health. So now it'll heal a percentage of its max health, which is going to make it a really dangerous enemy. Okay, one more thing I'm going to make is having enemies have weight to them. So the higher their weight will determine which ones will spawn more. So right now I have the basic enemy as really high, so it'll spawn a lot more, and the ranged and tank enemies just a bit lower, and all the other new ones lower as that. Alright, now the new guns. This should be fun to mess around with. And again, please tell me if you have any more ideas for guns. They're really easy to make, and I can also add some delay so it shoots in like a wave or something. I only have so many ideas, that's why I need y'all. I also made the reload speeds significantly worse. Instead it was like 50%, but now I made it around 25, so it should balance out with the damage and all the other upgrades. Alright, next on our list, we have a second boss, which is just gonna be a ranged boss. Okay, well that was pretty difficult because the scaling was weird, but I actually got it working. This time it spins and shoots bullets, and you'll have to dodge them as well as the new enemies that it spawns. I definitely want to make a better and more creative boss. I have a lot of ideas, but the game is in really early development, so I think it'll be fine for now. Alright, for the final thing on the list, it's sort of boring, sorry. I'm going to fix a lot of weird visual bugs and glitches that were happening, like the proper enemy rotation, balancing with the guns, and more balancing, a lot of balancing, because the more things I add, the harder it gets. And I'm going to do that now because I like future me. And I would also like to mention to everyone, if you find a bug in the game and you leave it in the comments, I will add you to the credits of the game. It could be as simple as a weird turned bullet, or the game not starting. Only one of each glitch can be found, so there are no repeats. And I think it'll be fine because there's actually a lot of glitches that I haven't done yet. There isn't any game-breaking glitches, but if you do, please tell me. And also, this weird sprite flash visual bug does not count because I'm very aware of it, and at this point, I have no idea how to fix it without reworking the entire enemy system. So this is gonna have to stay in the game, unfortunately. A bug, and you'll be in the game. So if you like this video, please consider subscribing. A lot of this work went into making the video, and majority of it went into making the game. Most of it was spending on working on the boring stuff that you don't see, like the code and fixing problems. For example, these are things that I have to do and cut out for your enjoyment. Alright, so I've already made the game, and I just wanted to go back and make a few adjustments, so I have. I actually did a lot of things. I got particles for whenever you shoot things. I might have gotten a new upgrade, I don't remember. I updated a bunch of the sprites, and oh yeah, I also added difficulties. So now you can choose from easy, medium, or hard, and depending on that, it will drastically scale the difficulty of the game. And if you want to see how it looks, go download it and play it yourself. Thanks for watching. If you want to try my game, it's on tburger.ish.io. It's completely free to play. I have instructions on the game if you're not very tech savvy, and I also have the link in the description. Thanks for watching. Subscribe or I will blow up YouTube.